Yaka, 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 Yaka. That's what the people in this traffic gonna be saying. We need Yaka to come and answer and help us, and Yaka.
I keep calling Yaya, but it's Yaka.
Yeah, you
I
got
ain't gonna make that mistake no more.
Yeah, Yaka.
Right.
Do something to me every time I hear it.
Mandingo Warriors.
Yeah, that's right.
From the Mandinka tribe. Right.
Yeah.
We having a lot of fun, but we taking care of some serious business.
Yeah.
Now let's switch gears a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's come to Dallas and Dallas only. What's your plans here in Dallas?
Well, you know, my plan was initiated by my mother.
Okay.
My mother said, I think when Storm Irma came through Dallas and through the state of Texas and killed hundreds of people because the grid isn't fixed, even though the state of Texas has over a $200 billion budget. We have one of the worst power grids in the country with reliability. My cousin James, he's one of the people that died.
Okay.
They said he overdosed, but it was asphyxiation. But he froze to death. It was cold. And they took him
Is that
straight.
dealing with the grid?
Yes.
Okay.
So they took him, instead of taking him to the hospital, they took him directly to the morgue. The doctor called his death over the phone.
A circle of evil.
Circle of deception and evil. So my cousin was who I grew up with, like my twin. So it was like just us three. My mom said at his funeral, I thought we were really close to being successful in music. And I told my cousin, you know, James, my financial situation is about to change, and I want to help you get off drugs. I want to help you get back on your feet so you can live the remaining of your life as your best life. And I didn't get that opportunity. So my mom said, you need to really come back home here to Dallas and help the people that you grew up with. Your generation is just like James, right? Lost at sea with no anchor. And out on sea, and people just fishing the ones that they want and throwing the ones back in. So
Now your dad's in jail.
my dad's in jail.
Okay, so your mom's single mom.
Single mom.
Only because your dad's in jail.
Yes.
Okay.
Only because the state of Texas
Yeah.
allowed Bowie County to pay one witness $200.
$200.
And give another guy from Dallas, his name Tukey something, and his family, all lied a plea agreement to lie on my father and
Waive an
family.
arson charge.
To waive an arson
he's
charge.
a pastor now. A pastor
Here.
now here in Dallas was able to forego going to prison for
3
burning
strikes.
stuff down, right?
A public housing area.
A public house, burning people's stuff down. As long as he gave my father the gun that they gave him, right?
Okay.
They gave him a gun, and he gave it to him because they needed the murder weapon with their prey.
Okay.
No, with their prey with the individual they was hunting. We were only 6 weeks in my mother's womb when the state of Texas and Bowie County.
District
Now y'all
Attorney.
say Bowie.
So Texas County is in Bowie County. It's in
Oh,
East
okay.
Texas.
So, but this
East
is up
Texas.
in Texarkana area.
Yeah.
East Texas.
Bowie, okay. All
East
right, go
Texas.
ahead, go ahead.
So essentially, what ended up happening, you know, like many of us hunted and preyed upon, and our families are broken up for special interests, and the prison industrial complex is big business. So my mother was forced to raise children by herself, and she told me to come back home and help the people.
And
when
we listened to Mama.
And I listened to Mama, and I said, well, you know, I can start over, even though I had spent the last 8.5 years out in California as a community organizer, registering thousands of voters, running for office, meeting Kamala Harris, meeting Joe Biden, meeting all of the people. Had I started in politics here 10 years ago, what just happened would have never happened. So,
And it won't happen
and
again.
then it would have never happened again. Who said that? George Bush said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me again, it ain't gonna happen. So,
Good quote, George.
so George W. Bush, I believe he lived in Highland Park.
Yeah.
Wasn't all bad of a president, as they said, you know. But nevertheless, my mom came here, quite a few people. I was going to first run against Bernice Johnson for Congress here. And I had quite a few people from East Texas say, Jamal, well, why don't you come here to East Texas and run against Louis Gohmert? we can possibly help you raise.
So you running for Congress in East Texas?
I ran for Congress in East Texas. I sort of regret not running in the open seat against Jasmine, which would have.
Which I told him,
Yeah.
I did not want him to come back and run here because we was set in a good position. All the door knocking and everything we was doing in clubs, associations, everything with the music out there for him to actually win. In the open seat, meaning he just ran 2 times against the incumbent.
And I made the general election.
I said, but if you come back, do not go to East Texas. Come back to Dallas, where it's a stronghold, because you go out there, you're gonna get persecuted, death threats, and he surely got all that. Yeah. Death
Out
threat,
of East
persecution.
Texas.
They ran them up out of there. And
They ran you up there?
Ran me up. I
You
chose.
mean you left?
beat them, beat them like a rug.
You left smoking.
I had a conversation with you a while back. He said,
Yeah.
why would you go somewhere where a person has a gun ready to shoot you? So when that guy at Sam's, I was on my way from, I think, Gilmer from an event, and we had to drive all the way down to, I think,
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine, no, I can't even remember 17 counties, past near St. Augustine to another event with their Democratic Party there. And I stopped in Longview to get gas. And this was the incident to where the guy threatened to hose me down with gas and set me on fire.
Oh my goodness.
Where he pointed the gas pump at
How
me.
long ago was this?
This happened, I believe, in, I want to say August the 29th of last year.
Okay.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Well, August the 29th of, last year. So
I'm
when
keeping up with your statutory time.
So
now.
when that happened, it shook me to my core that this older white man said, I'd have hose you down and set you on fire. He just cussed me out so many times, his body language, all because I offered him a rat card saying, hey, this young man is trying to unite us, give him consideration. And he said, you people is what's wrong with this country. You people. You people. You people. So I was like, well, I didn't do anything. And, at the end of the day, I called the police. It became a sort of viral moment in East Texas. And immediately the propaganda was, he's lying. He's a Jesse Smollett. Until I got the videotape showing him pointing it at me. But sometimes in America, being a Negro, we've never got justice when the justice system is set up by our enemies, people who took our land, our culture, and identity, and we incorporated into their way of life. So I actually spoke with a senator right now out of Dallas about this situation, and he encouraged me, said, hey, it's going to be hard to win in East Texas. You really need to move back to come here to Dallas. And I took that consideration, and I ended up moving back to Dallas in mid-October.
Okay.
Because I was at a Beto rally in Longview, and a Donald Trump truck, I was in the street, and I was telling him to stop. He didn't stop.
It was a
He got
Donald
Donald
Trump
Trump diesel
diesel
truck,
truck,
like a diesel,
With
big,
Donald Trump running.
big on the side. And all I know, I'm looking at this truck,
telling them to stop.
telling him to
He's in the
stop.
middle
He
of the
kept
street.
going. And the only reason I didn't go up under the truck is because I had to roll off, and he kept going. He hit me with the truck.
No, my goodness.
I got
So
gun-
Y'all been in it.
I had guns bashed.
and also at Sam's in Longview, after a terrorist threat on his life, as a congressional candidate, okay, the first ever Negro African American black
ever.
male candidate, incumbent ever in East Texas history. Not only did Sam's Walmart not aid and apologize to him, they aided in slandering him.
And criminal trespassing.
And criminal trespass him for daring to call the police to say this man, who's a member, tried to threaten to kill me with your gas hose.
Well, so now, okay, so you all are now in the politics.
Yeah.
But now what y'all do about the singing?
Oh yeah.
Y'all left a few minutes ago, you
So
just singing.
one of the things I love about life is
What's that?
360 come around, the snake that eat his own tail.
you got to have something to sing about.
Oh, we got a
If
lot.
you look at the culture and the vibration of our people, in Dallas, when you had Marvin Gaye saying, let's get it on,
And what's going on?
it wasn't no drive-bys going on in the hood because Uncle Buddy will come over and whoop your son or let them fight in a fair fight. It was fair. We had a sense of community. But when that community was destroyed, it was only because the music was destroyed. So when our music was taken out of the hand of Berry Gordy because CBS bought Motown,
Okay.
and you begin to see the shift into the in the 80s from the 70s for disco and drugs to now violent gangster rap music to where gang culture became
And degenerate music in general.
became a way of life. And that's when the church begins to lose their power as well. Because we have pastors right in the city that I know for a fact, I ain't gonna say no name, they will stand with wicked, evil people that the Bible says they should not stand with. Those who defend darkness is because you're dark.
And I want to add this is crazy, and I know I shouldn't say this, but I
careful.
know a high-ranking pastor, right? When I was younger, I had this thing. I wouldn't date married women. I said, you know, I have conscience. I don't want to deal with married women. I was a young, handsome guy, single. There was a lot of married women. Like, brother, am I telling the truth? A lot of married women wanted me. They said I was
wanted you.
mysterious.
They wanted Bring me
They
some-
wanted-
Said I got the
Y'all
high
got
heel.
Give not yah. They want the yaka. Bring me the yaka flavor of the year. But anyway, but it was just one individual. I'm not gonna say her name, but she took a liking to me. But she was steady married, rich, very successful. She said, "I'm gonna support y'all. I'm gonna back y'all."
Don't say who she. No,
I'm not
don't
gonna
book
say
profession.
that.
Don't
I'm
even
not
say
gonna
that.
say that. But I want you. I said, ma'am, you are a married woman. I can't do that. That's against the Bible. You know, I have some principles. You know, ain't the perfect man, but I can't do that. This woman did not. She felt offended, slighted, and she would not support our group.
Yeah.
But one monkey don't stop a show. But this same individual had her husband, I ain't even say his name, but to give this pastor,
$500,000 check.
all right, and they was messing around.
Yeah.
Pastor messing around with married women and got in and was shamed in the open and secret, which is a satanic ritual of embarrassment, right?
Yaka.
This individual, I said, if he got to have me, what could I could have got? But my moral principle is worth more than money. And that carried over in a lot of areas of our life. And this is why I support my brother so much. Even no matter the cost, I support him.
I've seen you guys out on the trail, and I'm telling you, there's no one better than you guys. I saw one of your campaign signs
Oh, yeah.
with your baby picture on it.
No, that was my son.
Oh, okay, that's your son.
That was my son.
All right.
Israel Moshe Jefferson.
Israel Moshe, baby.
Yeah.
Well, how many? Let's get into that. How many? Tell us about your married life, your girlfriend life. What's happening?
Well, politics has a way of destroying relationships.
Okay.
When you lose as many times as I did, my fiance wanted me to quit, and I told her I can't. I feel drawn to just go down this road. Eventually, we'll win. We can make the change, and I feel I need to do this. And she couldn't support it, so that sort of. She said I was gonna lose my family if I don't quit. So I told her I couldn't. I just need her to, continue to believe against all odds. She chose not to. So, I'm just a statistics because of politics. No different than it was Mr. Chan. He was the governor from California. While he was in the actual election, his wife divorced him. So when you're out here sacrificing and you're taking away from your family and putting your family at risk, the people who are the voters, the people in the community, see someone like me, or when you were running, or a Jasmine Crockett, or any of the elected officials out here trying to make a difference. There's only two things going on. Either that person is doing it for the right reasons, or they've been put in their position to do something for somebody else. And that's the reason our community is the way that it is. So it destroyed my family. I have, no different than any other man. I have to weigh the balance of the future on should I quit, start something else, or keep going on and teach my son that no matter what, even for love, you don't stop doing what you're supposed to do because leaders are made. They're not born.
Yeah, and they paid the iron price,
They paid the iron
not
price.
the gold price.
Not the
Because the
gold
gold
price.
price
They paid
is
the
not
iron price.
made. The
The
iron
iron
price. The iron price, not the gold price. I can tell you right now, JJ is paying the iron price.
Yep.
All right? And there's no glory in what he's doing. Believe me, if it wasn't for my brother, He's making me pay the iron price. I want to be singing and dancing, but he said, no, man, leadership is where we at. And where he goes, I go, because remember, Yahweh, Hashem, Adonai, God, Lord, Creator, Allah, whatever people acknowledge it as, I acknowledge this Yah and I always keep the pen on me to keep evil spirits away from us so they can know who they messing with. Because I turn my back on you many and click up the heels and read Psalm 70 on you. All right, most people don't know this. That's one of our powers. Okay?
Right.
I'll read Psalm 70 against you in a minute and go eat some of that delicious pizza we just had. But
Delicious.
Was pizza all right? You're
man,
supposed
it's pretty
The
good. I was
pizza
hungry.
was all right.
It's all right. It's
Well, now,
all
here's what we're
right.
going to get ready to do.
It's all right.
We're going to talk about. I'm going to get your opinions in just a minute on guns and
Oh, interesting.
affirmative action
Yeah.
and all that. But even though we've had a little pizza, guess what? Now it's time for some Henderson's chicken.
Ooh.
Oh, Henderson chicken.
Ain't nothing wrong with Henderson chicken. I haven't had it yet, but I'm looking forward to the review.
You finna get
Yeah.
it.
Do they got
Well,
biscuits?
We got some good pickles, peppers, and fries.
Pickles, that
Pepper-
sounds like it's in. Come down here to Henderson Chicken and get you some pickles, peppers, and fries.
We'll be right back.
Peppers, fries. Ooh, what a good surprise. Once you taste our chicken, you want more.
You know you want it, and we're ready to give it to you. Come on over. We're open late all over DFW. At Henderson Chicken, once you've tasted our chicken, you'll want more. Like the taste of Henderson's? Then you'll love Miss Linda's Seasonings, now available at a Henderson's Chicken location near you. No matter what you're fixing, Miss Linda's Seasoning makes cooking at home easy and delicious. So get on down to Henderson Chicken today. Once you've had Miss Linda's Seasoning and our chicken, you'll want more.
This is Dila Coffee, an authentic specialty Ethiopian coffee experience, and we're on a mission to bring the best of specialty coffee back to the forefront. Directly from our family farm, we're bringing first grade, single origin specialty coffee from the famous Yirgacheffe region of Ethiopia. We have coffee events every month, so follow us on Instagram at Dila Coffee so you don't miss out on the next one. This is Dila Coffee.
Welcome back to The Other Side with Dwayne Caraway.
Welcome back to the other side. I'm Dwayne Caraway with my guests, the Jefferson twins.
Yaka,
Yaka.
JJ.
And JJ.
JJ.
There you go. You got it this time.
Got it this
You
time.
said you was
Finally.
going to get it.
I'm
You
telling
got it. I'm telling you.
Look, you all were talking about something a few minutes ago, and basically about fighting and you know these guns and things that we have out here. Talk a little bit about your positions and stuff alongside with these guns and violence.
So, guns and violence is not the problem.
Okay.
Poverty and lack of equity in communities is a problem. There's a
Right.
book called The Accommodation that explains how Dallas divides people based upon a highway. Right?
That's
People north of 30, they get the roads, potholes, less crime, the homeless isn't dumped into there, and they remove them. People in certain districts in East Dallas, they get a faster response for the police, whereas in South Dallas, where I live, the police won't come. I was at I was campaigning for the Dr. Martin Luther King parade, and we were at the MLK Center, and someone stole a tow truck to steal somebody's car. His name is Troy. I'll say his name, Troy.
Oh, Troy.
Yeah, Troy.
Troy?
Yeah, Troy. Troy said, we was
Troy
talking.
did that?
No,
go ahead.
his car got stolen.
Oh, okay.
His
Corvette.
His Corvette got stolen.
Inside joke.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and what the amazing part was, I said, well, call the police. He said, I did. I was on the phone with them. They said they're not coming. So the crime, the mayor of Dallas, Eric Johnson, is congratulating himself about the lower crime in the city. It's easy to have lower crime when you don't tell the people to come up and you can control the narrative for an app.
But what do you think the youngsters ought to do, or who should do something about the guns in all these people's hands?
The problem is not the guns in the hands, it's the lack of training for the guns in the hands. So when I ran for Congress, back in 2015, when people were eliciting me to potentially run in 2016, we talked about these issues. And they asked me, what are you going to do about the guns? Do you believe everybody should have guns? I said, well, I read in the Constitution in the Second Amendment, and I know it, a well-regulated militia for the security of a free state and the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed upon. That doesn't matter who it is. So well-regulated means the governor of the state should be regulating who has the guns, right? And who has the guns is the people in the militia. So if we force everybody who wants to have a gun, like they do in Switzerland, that you have to have military service, guess what?
And training.
And training, it's okay to have a gun. The problem is you have people who don't understand the rules of engagement.
But how they getting the guns? I mean,
Well, easy. Guns are manufactured in America.
They got a name on it.
They got a name on it.
Smith and Weston.
If me and you go steal anything,
I ain't stealing
right?
nothing.
No, I'm saying if anybody go steal, so say that we did what Sam Bankman-Fried did, right? The young guy who became worth billions of dollars with the FX Ponzi scheme. Yeah. And he started giving to his mama hundreds of millions of dollars, who then started giving it to Web3 and other places, and they started giving it to congressional candidates, including candidates here that won, right? So they gave millions of stolen dollars to candidates who got elected to office, and now those candidates have a duty to defend this thief. If me and you did that same exact thing, then just take the theft as the guns. What ultimately happens is this: we allow for K104 and 97.9 to say it's okay to promote and glorify violence on the radio. Okay. We say it's okay for Netflix, HBO, right? The news, Stars, with 50 Cent and everyone else to promote violence culture. That if we did this back in the day with our grandma's era, Dr. King would have showed up, Malcolm X would have showed up, and they would have shut it down, especially the way it is now. So it's not these babies' problem that drugs are coming across the defenseless borders. It's not their fault that these guns are being just pushed into the community. Some allegedly, I read stories in certain cities to where the police were putting the guns right into the communities.
Or third party. Allegedly.
No, this is a news report. I can find this, right? Allegedly, but just for the sake of legal purposes. But if you have crime, the crime is only caused by the poverty and misery of the people in the community. And until leaders step up and say, how can we force the market to turn around? That's it.
What's your position on discipline?
I think that you can have, I think that as a man,
because you do identify as a man.
I identify as a man. I know what a man is and a woman.
Okay.
As a man, I looked up to my coach. I looked up to my grandfather. I looked up to my uncles.
The police.
Right? I looked up to the police in the third grade that came in with PISA, with the DUR program that told us not to do drugs. I looked up to the people in the military. Anybody that's willing to be a defender of people. And the first defender of people is the father. Whether it's the grandpa, daddy, uncle, it's the man. But the Bible even speaks about how do you destroy a community or take a strong man's goods. You bind him up and then you go in and exploit it. So when we look at these young fatherless children, like I was a fatherless children, right? And you got generations to where at one time his son was in jail and his daddy was in jail at the same time. So we're dealing with a generational curse, right?
And I want to say he has relationship partner. I'm in love.
Yeah, he been in a relationship for a long time.
So I'm in love, and
y'all got to straighten that out.
My woman,
and they might get that mixed up.
I love my woman. I want to let you know this. All right, let's keep on going.
He's not him pick. He's picked the hen.
Yeah. Well, he didn't also try to get into politics.
Oh, okay, all right.
Right.
Y'all will be double trouble.
The person that goes across
now.
But it was also.
But I was there the whole time with him. It was like it wasn't.
He's standing on my shoulders like I stand on your shoulders.
It wasn't. When he got in politics, it's like, hey, this is what we doing. All right. All our funds originally was together.
Right.
And when your funds are together with your best friend and your business partner, and he decides he want to go a certain route, you like, hey, wait a minute. I'm forced to go in it with him.
So how are we gonna get these people out to vote?
Okay, so one of the things I'm going to
Be the change that you want to see.
forget change. Nothing is gonna change when
Nothing
you
gonna
got
change.
people in Highland Park and University Park who have half a block homes, who live in there's houses in Dallas worth 2.5 million. I seen a $28 million home and they're spread it out in different pockets of success. So as long as you have mass wealth accumulated in single individuals' hands, when you have mass poverty in many people's communities, it's hard to change anything. It's hard to tell somebody to go vote when I'm hungry. It's hard to tell somebody to go vote when the mayor of the city of Dallas, they got a $4.6 billion budget and there ain't no money to fill potholes.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal with what you just did, the analogy that you just put with the $28 million home. The person that's hungry. All the person that's hungry is go and vote.
Oh, man,
Why not?
that's how it
The
was.
state of Texas, I believe, said it's illegal to give people water standing in line. Am I correct?
Well, I'm not worried about giving people water. I'm just saying, here's where I'm going with that. Let me tell you why. Yeah, and it's not ludicrous what I'm talking about. You got people that's not hungry that choose to walk past a voting machine, don't have nothing else to do but to walk to their car and say, I ain't got time. The machine is empty, waiting on you to just stop by and punch a button.
It's that easy?
It is that easy.
Well,
How are we going to? How will you
I
change the
had-
mindset of these people that walk right past an empty voting machine, go in, get their driver's license, get their tags for their car, walk right past an empty voting machine in a very important election, and then say they don't have time?
This is the easy response, and I had to pay the iron price to answer this.
Yeah.
When you have discipline or leadership, right? They can figure out a way to make you accept giving them taxes before you do your tax filing. They got a way to take your property if you don't pay a small amount of taxes. So this is what needs to be done. Number one, if you are a registered voter and you voluntarily allow for yourself to be registered, that is a contract that you're in. We don't have people that want to enforce voting contracts because you registered to vote, and not just to vote in every election, because as a candidate that I've been for at least 13 times, I spent good money out of my own pocket to run, and for people to ignore races that I've been in or other candidates been in, that's a breach of contract by the election administrator. So we need election reconstruction to where every person who is a United States citizen, we should raise the age to 25. Everybody the age 25 automatically registered to vote, and if you don't participate, we need to think like other emerging economies such as Australia, Mexico. They have what we call civic mandatory obligation to participate in elections. I promise you, if you make people flip the ballot, starting with local races first, the governor's race last, tell them that if you do not complete this ballot, you should be penalized. No different than registration, running a stop sign.
It's coming.
Voting is the most important part of a constitutional republic. And when we quick to throw people in the jail for smoking marijuana, right? We quick to throw people in the jail for prostitution. We quick to throw people in jail for their children not having a ride to school for truancy. We quick to throw people out of their homes that could have lived in those homes for over 20 years, 30 years in communities and say, well, because the property values went up, we need to raise the rent. People are on fixed incomes. We damn sure better be ready to tell people to participate in the number one thing George Washington said to do. You better defend and protect the economy of the United States, because without that, we have no republic.
Let me give both of y'all one. Now, you all have worked elections. Y'all been out there passing out cards, go in and vote. How many times have someone walked out and you've asked them to vote, walked past a voting machine, and they gave you an excuse?
Plenty.
And
You say plenty.
A lot.
Plenty.
So you just said plenty.
I would
And
say
what do we
1
do?
out of 10.
more than that. But what? So
No,
what
only
do we do?
one would go vote.
Oh, only one would go
Yeah,
vote.
so-
So what about the other 9?
Let me tell you this. Beyonce, the mayor's race had what, about 48,000 people. So just say 50,000
We're
votes.
picking on the mayor now.
Hold on, no, I'm trying to give an example. Just say,
pick on the mayor.
if we have 50,000 people that's gonna vote, and you get them a Beyonce ticket that's coming to the
We
the
understand
arena,
that. I understand that.
those 50,000 people,
They gonna go get the ticket and go to Beyonce.
or go vote.
Yeah, I got that.
What about
But I'm talking
what
about
about
those
a
9.
Popeye's crispy
wait
chicken?
a minute. Those 9, that out of the 10, you say 1 would turn around and go vote. How do we encourage the
Mandatory
9
vote.
people?
Go
The
ahead.
state,
Go
the
vote.
state has to either bribe them or make it mandatory.
Cut benefits.
That's it.
Listen, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
If you really want people to vote,
What did you do?
start tying the participation in the number one most important thing, self-determination. That's what we have in, according to Article 1, Section 2 in the Texas Constitution. We are guaranteed a Republican form of government. All a Republican form of government means is that we elect our leaders. If you start talking about cutting benefits for people, guess what?
Yeah, it'd be a long line.
The vote is valuable now. If you start paying...
So how you gonna do this? How you gonna cut
how-
the benefits?
well-
or even threaten to cut the benefits?
Well, that's the reason I ran for Congress. See, something called in Congress, you can put those bills in a little box and start the process. The thing is, we have a civic obligation to participate in our government. A lot of people
But what
don't
you
want...
gonna do about the people that's just defiant, that don't take their behinds out and go and vote and are willing
Let me
to
say,
just
let me say,
live?
let me just one thing.
Just to live like
Have you
they
asked
live.
them why they refuse? Because I didn't hear it 1,000 times, even
Thousands.
this last time. I didn't hear it at least a
They
minimum
busy.
of 1,000
They
people.
busy.
No.
They got somewhere to go. They
That's
gotta go back
that's
to work.
not the number one reason.
I'm telling you what they say.
They
when
tell
walking out.
me,
'Cause I'm out there.
what's the point?
What's the
I
point?
don't
Okay.
believe in it. My vote doesn't count.
Ain't
But
nothing
their
gonna
vote
change.
did
Ain't nothing
count.
gonna
But their
change.
vote did count.
That means it's a
No, no,
psychology.
wait a minute,
Psychology.
wait a minute.
Psychology
They
is
vote,
happening.
Their vote did count. Those that did not vote, those that believe that their vote did not count, guess what? They voted. And guess who they voted
You're
for?
absolutely right.
They voted for the opposition
You're absolutely right.
that we're trying to change.
But that
How
means,
do we change those
that
people
means
around?
the advertisement worked.
Listen, the psychological warfare that's done on the people
Yeah.
to not participate. Just think about how much money the city of Dallas actually did to promote this last election, versus how much they're
$1 million.
gonna spend.
They
for the
gave more
bond.
to their friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Allegedly.
But here's my point. The Jefferson twins. Here's the deal. What I'm trying to do, you got beauty shops, nail shops, barber shops, everywhere
Relocation of the,
that
voting
got
telling
full of people on a voting day on Saturday.
It's not for
Wait,
what?
wait,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got you.
No. So
you're right.
Yeah,
they
you're
got they're in the grocery store, they're at home,
Right.
they did not vote.
I got this for you.
You got it? You got
Got
it?
it.
You got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Okay,
they
you
didn't
talked
go
about this.
vote. Okay? And the person that may have been able to change the turnout of the election, the results of the election, only lost by 60 votes.
Yeah.
Now, you got all these people over here that don't vote. They're not taking it serious enough to go vote. How do we get these people energized?
Tell them, JJ.
Tell me, JJ.
See, leadership is about solutions. The solution
Okay,
is this.
come on, talk.
When
Yeah.
I was defrauded of my right to run for mayor of Dallas,
And I was
right?
defrauded for
I was
city
cheated.
council.
I was lied to. Hold up. No.
Don't get into all of that.
I'm trying to show you the answer.
No, you
When
can't
I
get-
was cheated, let me finish.
When
please.
we were cheated.
When I was
No,
cheated.
don't use the word
I-
cheated.
No, that's what happened.
Wait,
When I was defrauded of a
let's
right.
save that for another interview.
Okay. So when what happened to me in the city of Dallas, in my experience in the mayor's race, I decided to go run for the Democratic chair
Yeah.
for one reason.
Okay.
It's because the Democratic chair gets a seat on the election board
Okay.
right here in the county of Dallas.
That's smart
And
move.
on the election board, you get a say in where the polling locations. And I said the only way to increase the voting by at least
Yeah.
25 to 50% is the problem is not voting, it's location.
Location, location.
We need to have those polling locations in Walmart. We need to have them in the barbershops.
Well-
Target.
We need to have it in Target.
High
Because on
traffic
Saturday,
areas.
high traffic areas. Because when
They ain't at the library
They ain't
on
at the
Saturday.
library on Saturdays.
But-
They on
okay,
their phone.
all right.
They ain't at church on Saturdays too.
Yeah, but okay, here's the deal. Let me give you some experience from me. there are people, here's Roosevelt High School, for example, okay? There are people that live right across the street from Roosevelt High School, example. Live right across the street. You ain't got to do nothing. You come over there and your shoes, rollers in your hair, whatever you want to do. Right across the street. They refuse to walk across the street and go and to vote. What is the problem? Do black folks like living like this? If we just said, okay, this is just how it is, when we can go over, vote, change the system, get folks committed like you guys are committed, to go in and change the very system that we say is out of order.
It's something called the 85-10-5 rules.
Okay.
And when you're dealing with, everything is mouth here on this planet, in this realm of men, right? It's numbers. It's 85-10-5. 85% of the people will follow, no matter if it's light or darkness, good or bad.
Don't matter.
They will follow. Now, if you notice, crime is going up because more violence is pushed onto the people. Drugs, guns, prostitution,
Degenerates.
the deputated housing, increased cost of living. We can go on. Broken families. Obesity, bad diet, GMO foods. Just total chaos is being pushed on the people. The churches?
No religion.
The churches are quiet. They praying in the church. Jesus, Yeshua, was out amongst the people. So those people who live across the street, who can roll over, as you say, to go to the voting poll, they don't see the voting polls because Walmart got the food.
Well,
They got.
It's mass coming.
So there's
It's a mirage.
So now we're gonna have some additional sessions with the Jefferson twins. Okay?
Voting polls are a mirage.
It's a mirage.
Yaka.
They'll cheat at the voting polls, and I ain't afraid to say that.
But here's the deal. But we're gonna take this thing further, okay? We're running out of space and time right now.
problem.
This has been great. I want y'all to know that it's been great. You got plenty more to say. And
What's the name of that chicken place?
Henderson
Henderson
chicken.
Henderson chicken. I don't even eat chicken, but it sounds good.
Yeah, and
But-
make sure you go get your car.
yeah.
That special edition.
Special edition.
Yeah, get it wrapped. Bring it. If you have a wreck, go over there. Do all what you gotta do.
You know,
and they gonna take care of you.
We got
B
the
gonna take care of
minivan
you.
when he ran for Congress.
Got what?
We had bought a minivan and
Well, then y'all need to take it on over there.
we should have got. We gonna get that wrapped.
and
next
help
time.
your
We're gonna get it
brother
right for the next race.
Yeah,
For the next one.
help for the next one.
Yeah,
all
we
right?
gonna get it raced.
All right, look, we're gonna have to
Right.
get out of here, fellas. Hey,
Hey.
pleasure. This is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
The Jefferson twins.
Yeah.
The Jefferson twins.
The Jefferson Millions.
Moving on up.
Moving on up.
To the
I'm doing
east
Caraway, this is
side.
outside
We
with
finally
DC.
got a piece of the pie. Woo!
You've been listening to The Other Side with Dwayne Caraway. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next time for more great guests, insightful conversation, a little bit of humor, and a whole lot of truth on The Other Side with Dwayne Caraway.